So a little bit of strange news, and I would say maybe probably bad news if you're somebody who's an Xbox fan looking to get, something, incredible for the fan in your life, or the Xbox fan in your life, or maybe you are the Xbox fan. So again, this is something that I feel is inevitable, and people probably will still kind of make excuses for it and things like that. So again, we'll hope for the best and possibly get the best, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here, unfortunately. And this is one of those things where you kind of say, I told you so, and hopefully things can kind of maybe work out or change from here. But to me, this is kind of a no-brainer. I think that it's probably going to be a pretty negative impact overall for Xbox. So if you are a person that thought that the price hike for Xbox Game Pass was unnecessary and too high and a big jump, because a lot of us knew we'd get a price hike, right? We thought they'd kind of nickel and dime us for a while, $1 here, $1 there, and then they jumped $10. Crazy. But it looks like there's could be a Game Pass could be getting another price hike and a perk that no one asked for. So it feels like every few months or so we're slapped with something across the face that continues price hikes, whether it's current gen consoles that are years old or streaming services such as Netflix or Game Pass. So last year we saw some price hikes with gaming subscriptions like PlayStation Plus and even Game Pass, and now it's like Game Pass price hiked us 50% in a lot of regions, and now it looks like there could be even more on the way. Unfortunately, it looks like Game Pass could be getting another price hike. No doubt it will be supported by the typical corporate lingo of falling in line with current economic demand. So yeah, as you guys know, these companies absolutely love to spout nonsense, right? Oh yeah, well, we got this, we got that, we gotta make sure that ecro-narcomanixers and all this kind of stuff, and then they'll try to blame everything in between. I think it's pretty popular to blame tariffs and stuff, despite the fact that a lot of those never even were enacted. It's just like, oh well, let's just accept it, because this is happening or that's happening. But again, we'll see how people kind of react to these things. But as reported through The Verge, not only does it look like Game Pass price increase is imminent, but it's also getting an additional perk that no one asked for, and I'm pretty sure that no one will, if only a few were actually ever calling for this. The Verge reports that Microsoft is considering expanding Game Pass this year and may look to bundle in new services, similar to what it does to EA Play and Ubisoft Plus Classics. This time we don't know much about the Game Pass will increase or how much it will, or by how much each tiers will be impacted. The rumored perk to come into Game Pass is reportedly coming to cable TV. I assume this might be similar to how subscription services is streamed with compatible smart TVs. I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever thought to myself, I wish I could play Xbox games via my TV media box. So if this happens, I'd be surprised if there are a ton of Game Pass subscriptions who would stream games via cable box, but I would assume that many subscribers won't be pleased having to pay more for the service to have that luxury. I would have thought that being able to stream via cable TV box would be exclusive to the Game Pass Ultimate tier, and if the tier has another big jump in cost, it could be surprising if subscribers wash their hands of Microsoft's costly service. That being said, the reports are unconfirmed, so take it with a grain of salt. However, if a price hike and additional perk do happen, I wouldn't be shocked in general. So, again, there's other rumors as well going on with this, that we're going to see some potential things coming to Game Pass. Okay, when they did this big price hike, they're like, here's this Fortnite thing that usually costs this much, but I got to be honest, I used that one time and I haven't been back to it. So I don't know, it's just sort of weird to me that this is happening. And then also with the Ubisoft Plus stuff, it's like I owned 95% of what was in that already, because a lot of that stuff gets sold for a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there when there's sales, so it's not really a big deal. So offering me more stuff, I would rather have an a la carte situation, and I've mentioned this before, where I can say, okay, well, what I really want in my Game Pass subscription? Well, I want to be able to play my games online, and I would like the, day one stuff. So whatever the price is for that, it probably shouldn't be more than $15, to be honest with you, a month, to do those things. So could you imagine if they were offering something like that? I think they would really be surprised at the amount of people that would subscribe to it, and it would make it kind of a deal again. Now they're already kind of talking about, hey, we're doing these other things, like in the future, where we're going to be doing PC Game Pass, because it's all over. Like, we already kind of knew this when we were talking about it. The only thing is, it's not official yet, is that we need to see what's going to happen with the quote-unquote next Xbox. We know it's going to be like a Windows PC, but if you're offering a PC, how can you have people pay to play online at that point? Well, you can't. And so I think that's kind of the situation that we find ourselves in. We're going to see if gamers are going to be okay with paying. Maybe they're going to say, well, if you're using our store, you still have to pay to play online, or maybe you're just using Windows game versions or whatever the case may be, and so be able to cut it out. But the thing is, the extra money that console gamers pay for Game Pass, like $10 of that, is so that people can play online. So, and in fact, there's a tier of Game Pass. The lowest tier is just to be able to play online. Like, I know people that don't care about the game library at all, and just pay because the lowest tier, because they want to be able to play online. So if there is no fee to pay online, I think Microsoft loses themselves a lot of Game Pass subscribers, because they consider the lowest tier that's still Game Pass to them. So again, we'll have to see how they decide to work all this stuff out. But for me anyway, it's kind of crazy to think how this stuff kind of comes about, and how these things are kind of changing the way that we game. I don't know, it's like some people come down on that whole thing where, we have to pay to play online and stuff like that. That's Microsoft's fault. But I always looked at it as a good thing, and I've mentioned this to multiple people. I was like, listen, Game Pass I think has been more hurtful than anything to gaming, because it teaches people not to buy games and stuff like that. But I never minded paying to play online for a couple of reasons, and I think one of the main reasons was that you're paying to avoid like the cheaters and stuff like that. They've got to kind of run their servers. They got to make sure that everybody is in these servers that they're not cheating and stuff like that. If you report them, they can get banned. And the difference, I thought, between in console gaming online and PC gaming online is, people that game on a console, you have your gamer tag or whatever. It's tied to your digital library. Many people have hundreds of games in their digital library. If you were to get banned, you would lose access to all your games, right? And you're paying to play online. So not only are you paying money to play online, all your games are tied to your library. Why would you risk that to cheat, right? You're probably not going to do that. And so, again, that's a reason. One other extra reason why I liked gaming and paying. I didn't mind it. It wasn't a big fee. Originally, it was like $50-$60 a year. That's nothing. They able to kind of control the servers, control the cheating, all that kind of stuff. That was kind of what you're paying for, versus the kind of Wild West way that the PC thing kind of does things. And again, if you want to game on PC, more power to you. You're certainly allowed to do so. Just for my personal taste and my likes, that's not something that I am going to be into. That's just not going to be something that I look at as a fun thing to do. In fact, I disable crossplay first thing pretty much on every game that I ever play. So it's going to be up to each of us to kind of decide how we're going to play things and how we're going to do things. But Microsoft, I think, has things that they can do to kind of change things up, but overall, I still think that this is kind of another instance of, hey, they're going to have to raise. I mean, what is the cutoff point for you personally? If you're a Game Pass subscriber still, to the premium version, right? I mean, you're already almost paying $400 a year. I mean, when they raise it to $35, $40 a month, is that going to be the cutoff point? Because I still think people are going to go, well, it's still cheaper than buying a game a month. you know, but I don't think that people fully understand what that means, you know, like, oh, well, having to pay all that money and all that kind of stuff, like, really is kind of crazy to me anyway. But you guys might think differently, like I said. But if I'm paying, you know, $500 a year for a subscription service, that's just crazy to me. You can own so many games, even if you wait a little bit to get them on, like, on sale or whatever. You could actually own these games. That's the kind of crazy thing to me. So I don't know. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. Certainly it is a crazy situation, to say the least, and I'm sure you guys all have your own thoughts and opinions on it. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys continue to have a great day, and if you guys do watch the videos, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Prep Gamer